one, MOOCs and Ministry of Education. I just wanted to inform the House that National IT Authority is also mandated to develop IT training standards. So we are in the process, so we shall partner with you in that direction. Another area, you are developing websites and software and the like. We're also developing standards for website development and software development. That's another area of partnership. I wanted to comment on the course content of which you gave us here, where you said ICT can be used for web browsing and communication. Normally it would be also good to interest the head teachers that it's used for research. Because when you just say web browsing, it doesn't appeal so much. But when you talk about research, maybe it can be more generic. Because web browsing, there are also other methods of researching using over networks. So I think that would be a good thing. Then I wanted to provide some, the current speaker was concerned about the non-embracement of electronic verifications and the like, as opposed to paper. I just wanted to inform the House that the electronic laws were passed. We have the electronic transactions law, electronic signatures law, and the computer misuse laws. We are right now developing regulations. That means people will be able to use digital signatures. Electronic documents will be authentic. Right now, if you went to court and presented something, for instance, or even anywhere, as you go and have it certified and bring back that copy which is certified. So, but what should happen is that after these regulations are put in place, then we shall be able to ensure that if you want to verify something from another institution, say academic paper, then they can send a digital signature with the electronic copy, and it's taken as authentic, and that can be produced anywhere. So I think the regulations being put in place will help the embracement of what? That work is being done around that area. Thank you very much.
More. The first question was about the concern about involving vocational. For us, as we developed this partnership with the Ministry of Education and MOOCs, we wrote to DIT, to the Directorate of Industrial Training, because we realized at the highest level that we cannot do much without working with vocational institutions. They have not replied us, but we've really shown interest that we have to work in partnership with vocational institutions. So we've seen DIT has so many programs. There are so many vocational institutions, I think now almost at constituency level. And I think soon we'll be taking them to sub-county level. So we are trying to see that we also pick the brains and the talented people who have been, who are running vocational institutions, those who are training there, also to work as instructors. So wherever we're having training, we are trying to see that we go closer to work with the vocational institutions. But you cannot again expect us to do much in those institutions, because you know the issue of funding. So we're just trying to strengthen the kind of collaboration, really. It's not that we can simply go to an institution and then maybe implement some of this project. We started with secondary. That is where we have capacity. Most of us actually, we are secondary school teachers, and we understand the challenges there very well. So as we bring you on board, we're happy that you're here, and we're expecting a lot of support from your director. So I think there will be that element of collaboration, and we shall work together. If we go to NEBI, we shall have to reach a vocational institution which is there first to see what we can do in the community and in the surrounding areas. That the issue raised by Mr. Headmaster, sir. When a revolution comes, sometimes it's very difficult to resist it. Analog technology. At first, people are using analog technologies where, like these other radio stations, maybe shortwave and others. But when things turn digital, there is a massive production. The rate at which ICT changes per day, you cannot easily understand. Things keep changing very fast. So the generation of today, these are people who must move with the 21st century skills. So if we don't prepare our youth, there is no way they will compete. If we say that they continue multiplying two by two using, okay, that's what they're supposed to do really. But technology is there. You see, people resisted the telephone first. In UK, people resisted this wired telephone. When mobile phones came here, people resisted them until the revolution came. Now we are there. So we should encourage our youth, okay, to develop a reading culture. They shouldn't just play around by simply watching digital and all these movies all the time. We should develop a reading culture. But in IT, we should use mathematics in programming. We should have these high-order thinking skills instead of going for the simplest. Instead of just using templates which are already there. We should, as teachers, we should go in for that mathematics. And that's why the Ministry of Education put it that mathematics should be a bit compulsory now. This is the way it is coming closer. And I think in a period of, say, 3 to 5 years, it will be compulsory. Okay, but there are people are resisting. Okay, compulsory at A level. It's something like that. Yeah. So you see, they need mathematics. Actually, to be a computer expert.
Mathematics teachers, my hobby.
Yes, please.
I think it is all about demystification. Yes. And it is us teachers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm sorry to interrupt, but the Right Honourable Minister who is here with us. With us, we have the head of the academia in Uganda, the Right Honourable Minister, Jessica Roko. She's here with us. We welcome you, our mother, and we thank you for honoring the invitation to come and be with us. He is accompanied with the principal, Makerere University of Business Studies, Professor. So we also welcome you for honoring our invitation. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform the Honourable Minister that when you came in, you found us when we had already started the program, and that the members were trying to have an interactive talk on what the presenters had already presented. Giving us the background what Makerere University Business School is doing in as far as ICT is concerned, and he also explained the partnership of Makerere University Business Studies with KAWA, and he gave us what the university will do and what KAWA will do. After that, we proceeded on the program on the presentation which were handled by the director or the national chairman of KAWA, Uganda, and Mr. Wamboga, a lecturer from Sitama University, taking us through what KAWA is doing in the education sector in as far as ICT is concerned. And that is where you found us when the members were trying to react on their presentation of what they had given us. At this time, since the Honourable Minister has come, I think I will give the members who have been reacting, I give them some, at least 2, to finish their reaction, and then the members will wrap up their answering, and then we shall go on the next agenda on the program. Thank you very much. It was the chairman of NASHU and the head teacher of Trinity College Nabingo who was on the stage. You are welcome.
Minister program, thank you, the cover for this program. And it was an issue to do with the demystification of mathematics or other subjects or whatever program that there is. And I just wanted to assure all the organizers that in my capacity as the chair of all the head teachers, I will do all efforts it takes to ensure that we change attitude, we sensitize, and we ensure that everyone is on board. Because as my young brother said, you just cannot go out from ICT. So I submit.
I would like to recognize the following personalities who have attended this meeting before the minister. Honorable Minister, we are here blessed with the head teachers association, the heads of the head teacher associations on regional levels who are being led by the national chairperson, the head teacher of Trinity College, Nabingo, whom you found on stage presenting. So all the head teachers who are here, we recognize your presence and you are very much welcome. Also with us, we have people representing different...
How many are those teachers who are leaders of regional, at regional level? How many are they altogether?
She can give us the information.
Honorable, we have 11 regions.
11?
11 regions, but not all of them are here.
Okay.
We have 11 regions.
Also with us, we have a representative from Makerere University MOOCs, who are led by the principal, and is just beside you. And we appreciate your being here this morning and mid-morning. We also have a representative from NITA.
Honorable Minister, NITA stands for National IT Authority. We have partnered with your institution to regulate IT training in the country. Thank you very much.
We are also represented here. We want to recognize the presence of a representative from DIT, Director of Industrial Training in Uganda.
Yes, we are in partnership with the Ministry of Education and we are under Ministry of Education.
We also have lecturers from different universities. For example, we have a lecturer of Systema University who has been presenting on the continuous professional development of teachers in the Systema University IT department.
Systema, UCU, and Kumi University.
We are also being represented from the district of Busia, from the DU's office, by a gentleman who is before us, covering us, the district of Busia, from the DU's office. You are welcome.
Yeah.
And all other dignitaries, from different stakeholders, please, you are all welcome to be with us here today on the launch of this program. Honorable Minister and the Principal, that is what we are very much welcome. And we wish that day will be very since you have. There was a lady who still wanted to ask a question. There's a lady who wanted to ask a question. There's another one who is saying no. On what you have pretended, I want to say something.
Secondary school, the school.
When you say Rosita, some people think of the prison. So it's the secondary school we're talking about. Now, I also double as the Secretary General of NASHU. And I'm glad to be here with a chairperson to represent NASHU and with the regional heads. Now, there was a comment by one of us. I might have misunderstood it, but after the presentation about ICT and training, there was a concern raised by one of us about, why we have ICT in the offices as well as the traditional records, manual records, and so on. But somehow, when we were reacting, it didn't come back. It wasn't handled. But then from experience, I just wanted to say as school heads that we are getting a challenge. ICT has come in, but when teachers and other staff want to be transferred, especially to Kampala schools, we've had of late situations where someone will bring you a transfer letter. They have very ably scanned the stamp of the head teacher from the school they are coming from. They have ably scanned the signature of the head teacher from where they are coming from, and somehow they've gone through the system. And the only way to verify the authenticity of that document is to go back to the traditional records. And that is why I would imagine that people are asked to produce their original, testimonial or something like that. And that is how we've managed to catch these people. Otherwise, ICT, good as it is, has also brought in challenges which never used to exist. And some people have gone through the system, they've even come and settled in the schools. But when this kind of investigation happens, people have been called back. And they have really been proven to have actually.
I received some information, I think, from one of the members, which said let us keep a bit of the manual system along with the digital system. And I think I'm saying you're making a mistake. You will not move away from that. It's best to find the solution in the electronic system itself, rather than try to keep both. But now, Minister, would I first of all like to thank the Ministry for giving us the opportunity to partner in this endeavor. This is the I call it popularizing teaching of ICT in schools. ICT has come and will not go back. Technology has been the primary enabler of change. It always has, it always will be. And if you don't embrace it, you will become not only obsolete yourself, but irrelevant to the conditions you are in. So it's very important for us to find strategies of adopting ICT in the way we work, in the way we live, in the way we do our things. Of course, ICT has got two sides of it. There's the demand side and the supply side. On the supply side, on the Minister, we are looking for infrastructure. This institution is paying about 30 million shillings per month to get just broadband, and it's not enough. We wish we could have more with our 12,000 students. That means that if you are going down into the secondary schools, you can see the amount of bandwidth that you need for the country. So in our planning, if we don't plan for bandwidth in those schools, definitely what we are talking about will not be realized. So there's need for a national strategy. The NITA is here on how we can get bandwidth and get it at lower rates. That's one. Two, of course, is equipment. Other Minister must report that MOOPS has never got 1 shilling from government by computers. Now, if MOOPS has got ability to generate some money, how about these schools? It may be useful, Honourable Minister, for you to link up with the producers of computers. I know, I think Dell, Compaq, even Apple, they look actively to institutions, especially education institutions, to see if they can give them donations of these computers. Now, they do so because they know once this grow up, they will buy their products. So it's important that the ministry tries to look out for some of these donations so that we can have the equipment on which our young people can start learning. Of course, there's a great difference today between the student in Kampala parents and one in one of those schools in Uganda, somewhere there, where they don't have any electricity. Honourable Minister, the other challenge we have as a nation is that only 10% of the population has access to electricity. So I think Rwanda, if I'm not mistaken, has attempted to have small computers which are solar. I think Uganda needs to explore all these possibilities to see. And I think with you here this morning, we are talking with the right person to be able to initiate and explore these possibilities. How can Uganda take advantage of those possibilities that there are? Having said that, I want to tell my colleagues, the teachers, that technology is something, it's a must. We must get onto it. But we must keep in mind, of course, that many of the people, children who are coming to us, have never seen a computer. And therefore, in a way, we shall keep the traditional system along with the computerized system. And I think it's important for us to put this government to see that we have more equipment to help us to overcome this problem. This morning, Honourable Minister, we've got 50,000 e-books in our library, which you remember we opened earlier this year. I must also report that this year's budget, the money the President promised was not availed. So we hope that next year we shall have the money. But 50,000 books is a lot of books in our conditions. And this is information we can explore, which we'll share with the people as we train them. How do you look for e-books? For instance, the books that are read in secondary schools, the classical books, are available, free, if you know where to get them from. So really we can, if we are able to, if you have a good strategy in a school, you can overcome these challenges and make sure that your children have got something to read. They're in the right place. You will be pleased to learn that the principal of MOOCs communicates with his staff through Facebook. Which is something people don't do. And I hope that this is something you can also try, so that you can also try to get in touch with get the ears and the feelings of the people whom you lead in this great ministry. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the Minister.
The Principal, Makerere University Business School, the Chairman, National Association of Schools Head Teachers Association, regional representatives of Schools Head Teachers Association, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT, the Executive Secretary, NITA, the Executive Secretary, Uganda Communications Commission, the representatives of universities, NCDC, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great honor to be here at the launch of continuous professional development training program for head teachers of secondary schools and primary schools in Uganda. I would like to thank the Makerere University Business School and Kisubi Associated Writers Agency, KAWA, for working together with the Ministry of Education and Sports in training head teachers in using ICT in their schools. I am happy to note that this training will take place in all districts of Uganda, following the structure of head teachers associations. The Ministry of Education and Sports, MOOCs and KAWA team will provide e-learning modules, and the training will take place during school holidays in the school computer labs. And I think to address the issue of electricity, the ministry also has tried to make provisions in the budget for the provision of solar panels in schools that are in rural areas or that are not connected to the national grid. But we will continue making that provision in a phased manner, but we will also continue urging the Ministry of Energy and government to provide rural electrification to all our areas in the country, not only for the purposes of ICT, but for other economic benefits that our community gets through electricity. The module of Rwanda, we will compare with the one we are using, and then we will see whether or not we can also pilot it at some stage. of having small computers that are directly connected to power independently. I want to thank the principal here for being very exposed in terms of ICT, so he can give a wide variety of examples that the ministry can borrow from. So I have come and I've learned, and I know that I will go back and implement. In an era where government is diversifying itself from direct involvement in the provision of goods and services, the role of private sector through private-public partnership will remain a driving force in the development and investment in the information economy with full support from government. So, Mr. Principal, we support you entirely as government, and when I go back, I will make sure that the PS includes the money that the president promised in our budget for next financial year, because we know that you are the best setters in terms of ICT in the country, and we want you to continue being best setters of ICT in the region. The government is fully committed to the deployment of exploitation of ICTs to facilitate teaching and learning at all levels within the educational system, and also improve efficiency in management and service delivery to the public through the use of ICTs. To that effect, the government has provided ICT infrastructure in about 820 government institutions to enable students access computers for their use in research and acquisition of sustainable, practical, and employable skills. And that's why I thought that you should have invited someone from the Interim Task Force of Skilling Uganda. But I know that someone from Industrial Research Institute will go and share with them the experience here. But Mr. Principal, next time you have such a meeting, please invite representatives from the Interim Task Force that we recently put in place on the Skilling Uganda program. Because we think that ICT is one of the tools that they should exploit to enable learners to be able to be useful in the world of work. According to the national policy of ICT in the education sector, all head teachers must be trained in ICT for the sake of improving service delivery to the public. It is important that the training has begun with the head teachers for the following reasons. The head teacher is the chief supervisor in whatever takes place at school, especially financial management. And now that financial management is done through ICT, if the head teacher is not knowledgeable in ICT, that means a lot. The head teacher can easily end up in cells for the mistakes he did not or she did not commit. So it's very important that head teachers are the first stakeholders in this training. Secondly, teaching and learning process will be improved because ICT makes monitoring and evaluation very easy. UNEB registration, for instance, of candidates will